Good morning, good afternoon, everybody. Thank you for joining us today from wherever you are joining us from. We appreciate your time. Please let us know in the chat if you haven't already. Where are you joining us from today? Introduce yourself, get to know other people that are joining us today. Today's session, LinkedIn Permission Bank, turning connections into conversations. And today, as always, I am not alone. I am joined by Noleen Thompson. Noleen Thompson is the founder of LadyBugz Marketing. She has 30 years of B2B marketing and sales expertise and has built her career on a simple but powerful belief. Authentic relationships drive real business results. And she'll tell us more during the course of today. And my name is Mpho Mogorosi, and I am the operations manager of LadyBugz and strategist. Noleen, hello and welcome.
Hello, thank you very much. Thank you for that introduction. I don't think any of this would be possible without you. Officially, this past week being uh 6
6 years.
6 years in Ladybugs. I don't know. It's kind of what
That's
you
crazy.
said. Time flies when you're having fun.
It does. You just don't
So,
realize how far you've come until you have that reminder on LinkedIn. And I actually appreciate that feature on LinkedIn so much because it's just, it adds that nostalgia to look back and think, phew, I started here, wait behind the ears, and now
and now you never thought that you would, be a speaker and sit on stages and now look
no.
at you.
No, I didn't think. Just a short personal story. When I joined LadyBugz, the first time I met Noleen, we met at a mug and bean, and she's like, "Yeah, it's gonna be great. I see you talking on stages and doing all these wonderful things and teaching other people." And in my mind, I'm like, I don't know what she had before this meeting, but I don't want it because she's delusional. And lo and behold, years later, I'm doing exactly what she said I would do. So thank you, Noleen, for being
Yeah,
a visionary.
you're welcome. You're welcome.
All right, so let's get into today's conversation. Before we start, we actually have a poll for the people that are joining us today. We don't be shy. Just let us know how salesy do you think your current LinkedIn approach is? Hmm. Please be honest. The poll should be up right now.
Yeah,
Good to see.
yeah. Do you go in for the kill right at the beginning, or do you wait, or you kind of do nothing? Um, it's
Introduce
it's
yourself and then ask for a meeting.
like, hi, I'm Noleen. Yes, we can see it on your LinkedIn profile. Your name is there. Like, hello.
Okay, so I think we have a balance here based
Yeah, we'll
on
see. Yeah. So you
the
can end the
answer.
poll and
And
share the results.
yes, let's see.
There you go. Oh, we have a little bit of a split there.
Hmm.
Okay.
Go in for a call with my first meeting, introduce yourself, then ask for a meeting. Do
Nice.
nothing. Okay. Add
Okay. So,
value before asking for a meeting.
well, it's good that we're having this session because now we're going to give you some real hot tips that really does work and lots of stories to tell behind those. So,
Absolutely. Absolutely. And you'll be glad that you're in this session just to get some nuggets. And if you start by going in for the kill, it's time for you to relook at that.
yeah.
Um, You're in the right place though. You are in the right
Yes,
place.
you've come to
Uh,
the right place.
y- yeah, you have, you have, you have. So, Noleen, in all honesty, what is the worst LinkedIn direct message you've personally received, and why did it immediately like put you off?
You know, when you started the question, the face dropped, the eyes started rolling so hard because I'm like,
No.
okay, so I've had people, and this is probably within the last month even. So this has been an ongoing thing, but the message introduces themselves, what they do, and what they do is exactly what we do. Like they're trying to sell LinkedIn marketing to someone who has a business and owns a business that does LinkedIn marketing.
Mm,
Um, and the worst part of it was she didn't just message me once, which makes me think it was automated because then a few days later, I just wanted to check if you got the message and said something almost exactly the same again.
mm,
Then a couple of days later, so automation, because I now haven't responded. She hasn't even looked at my profile to find out why I haven't responded. And I'm just checking, why haven't you responded to me? Like arrogantly. I'm like,
oh my goodness.
what do you mean? So from a salesy perspective, that's been kind of, those are the types of messages that kind of really, and you want a meeting and you're going in for the kill, and it's a service that I provide, which is, just a double whammy from
Mm.
my perspective.
And I think it highlights the conversation we had at our last session about the importance of doing your research and being intentional about how you reach out. If you're not doing your research, then now you're selling something like Nolene's scenario. That is so embarrassing, and it gives people the ick that we were talking about.
And if you missed the last webinar, the recording's on YouTube, so go and take a look. It's on
Yes,
our YouTube
yes,
channel if you missed
yes,
the ick part of marketing.
yes. And then from you, I mean, you have this 30-year experience, and I'm sure along the way you've done some mistakes. So have you ever sent a message too early and instantly like regretted it? And what
Never,
happened?
never. Me make a mistake? No ways. So I've been active on LinkedIn for about 14 years, but my activity also started with um, just being a stalker. So kind of looking and seeing what's going on, who does what, and I remembered vividly. I just don't remember the person name. I mean, I could probably do a search and find out how much he actually kind of whacked me on the head with it. That No, seriously. I was the one that actually went in for the kill.
Oh,
And this guy came back to me. He was an executive in a business, and he said, "You need to learn how to do this properly. And here's some research. I really don't appreciate," and just kind of like laid it on, as in, I yeah, no, I didn't know where to put my head at that point. That's when you kind of walk away from your machine, you go to the bathroom and you go, I made a really horrible mistake. I really hate that guy. He was someone that I wanted to connect with, and I just foobarred that one terribly
oh
because
no.
first, that's your first impression. Besides the fact that you've connected with them or you're
Mm,
sharing content, your first message counts. And if it counts positive or negative, that's yours. So I learned from my mistakes. So my when when we, training and helping businesses, it's not about, okay, well, I went and did a LinkedIn training manual or a LinkedIn training session on LinkedIn learning, and now I can do this. We learn from our own mistakes, and over time, I've learned what to do and what works and what not to do. So yes, I have I literally I think I actually went off LinkedIn for the rest of that day. I was told off so badly. I felt like, putting my head like an ostrich into the sand. So
Oh
and
no.
for those that know me, LinkedIn is kind of always open on
Mm,
on my laptop, or yeah, when I'm working.
yeah. Well, look, on the bright side, he did give you like pointers, say go do your research. Hey, he didn't just like tell you off. He gave you pointers. So let's take that on the bright side, you know.
Yes, yeah, well, he said, go and look at this person and they tell you how to use LinkedIn properly and blah, 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 blah. And so I was like, okay. So I did go and do my research and I did go and learn how to do it better. And then I did a lot more lurking again for a while after
Yeah.
that. So before I kind of did that. So yes.
Yeah. Okay, so from that scenario, getting all the experience and learning from that, what can you say now that, like, when does a LinkedIn connection start actually feeling like the start of a relationship versus just another connection you have?
There's a lot that has to happen before that happens.
Mm,
And to give you an example, probably about 2, 3 months ago, there was, I've been connected with this person, and I actually, because on LinkedIn, you can check if you go to the person's profile, it will tell you how long you've actually been connected to that person for. And I was connected with that person since almost day dot when I was, it was something like 12 years ago. And only 2 months ago did he reach out and say, I need your services.
mm,
But remembering that I started my LinkedIn while I was in corporate with a totally different focus. Um, but building that is not overnight. And I think this is the important part is if you are building relationships and you're wanting it to move from just a connection to a relationship, it takes work. And it's not just overnight work. It takes consistent being there and effort and not pitching too early, um, and sharing valuable content and building trust. I think that's the biggest thing is about building trust.
mm.
So there's a lot of steps in between before it gets to that point.
And I think because of how things are today with technology, we're so used to instant gratification. Just because you're connected to someone, you feel you have access to them, so now they should respond, or that relationship should translate into a sale or a potential lead. But it takes time, it takes work, and at that time, they may not need your services like with you, they only needed your services years later. So it's the long game, basically.
Correct. You've got the short game, but you've also got the long game. And I think, the important part to understand is people buy from people, especially when you're looking at a business to business culture. You can go buy a Coke from any, even a spaza shop or the garage or whatever. So
Mm,
Coke is a Coke is a Coke because you know that it's bottled by Coca-Cola. Whereas the services, when you're coming into a B2B aspect and you've got bigger deals, you are dealing with the people and the relationships. And so building your business and your credibility as a person is the important part because you have to build trust. And the statistics are you have to be seen and they have to see your content between 8 and 12 times. Now,
Mm.
that does not mean
Posting 12 times.
exactly. So that does not mean that if I post 12 times, that it's now time to pitch. Because not everybody sees your posts on LinkedIn all the time. So depending on the LinkedIn algorithm, and the LinkedIn algorithm is constantly changing, you just need to be consistent in building your brand. And they have to be triggered by, oh, that I saw a video about, Noleen was mentioning this. Oh, Noleen shared a story and, it was actually very funny. So if you go and take a look at my one of my last posts, it was speaking about the fact that Monster versus Lucozade, to give you an example. And I brought back to branding and, how younger companies can actually innovate quicker than longer. So I'll tell you the quick story, but you can go and, go and take a look on LinkedIn and comment your version. But we went into the shop I went in with my son and I had a tummy bug, so I was just still recovering from it. So I wanted more Lucozade. So for those in the older generation, Lucozade was our go-to. Even when we were a child, our parents used to buy it, and sometimes the taste wasn't as great. It tasted like it at that point. But I went for the Lucozade, and my son goes, "But why are you going for Lucozade? Why not Monster?" So I was like, "Well, Lucasade's been around forever. Lucasade's like been the go-to thing." He says, "No, but Monster and Lucasade have been around the same time, around." I said, "Okay, prove it." Goes on his phone. 100 years next year. Lucasade has been around
Mm.
100 years, and
That's true.
Monster is 24. So for him, yes, Monster has been around forever, and they have they've been around, well, been hit around his whole lifetime because he's 20.
Mm.
Um, and Lucozade has been around for 99 years, but they've only had over 20 flavors, where Monster, in their 24 years, have had over 300 flavors,
Mm.
and people collect the cans
That's crazy.
because they're innovative. So
Yeah.
it's that, and their brand building. So Monster's brand building has done so well. And I'm talking, this is not business to consumer, but as a
Mm.
brand, even, and as a person, you need to be innovative. You need to learn to be uncomfortable with the uncomfortable. So did I like to do videos and webinars and things like this when I first started my business? Oh, yeah, no. Okay. It, did I like to stand on stage? No, I did not. But did
Mm.
I do it? Yes. Did it get me clients? Yes. Did I do what is needed to be done to actually go out my comfort zone? Yes. So long story, but it kind of gives you where innovation and just posting like whatever generic posting that AI has spat out at you,
Yeah.
that looks like everybody else's content is not going to work. You have to do something innovative and creative that's actually going to get people's attention.
100%. And in our next session, we'll actually be discussing content, helping you in terms of building quality content and its importance for like permission bank marketing. It's another form of permission-based marketing. So make sure that you join us for the next one. And yeah, Nelene, with most professionals today, entrepreneurs or people that are in sales, why do you think they feel so much pressure to sell immediately after connecting? Is it because of maybe the perception out there about LinkedIn? What do you think that is?
So it's it's a number of things. I just want to remind everybody, if you have any questions for us, put it in the chat. We
Yes.
will be looking at it towards the end. But from a pressure perspective, it's that desperation because you've even as a maybe you're a new salesperson and now you've got new product. But if you've got a new position, first you announce it on LinkedIn, so then people go and have a look at the business. If you're in that position where you haven't made targets and you kind of like my boss is on my back. So there's the different pressure from different places. Or you have your own business and the hustle is real. I've got to make rent, whatever that looks like. It's still people can, like dogs can smell fear, people can smell desperation.
Mm-hmm.
If you're coming across desperate, you're definitely not going to build credibility as part of that. So there's a number of external factors. It could be you yourself because you need the pipeline. It could be external factor where it's you haven't made targets or you're aiming for the next one, and the bosses are asking for where's the deals, or you new and you have to build a new pipeline. I in any one of those cases, and there's probably even more cases, but in
Yeah.
any one of those particular cases, it's still if you come across as desperate, um you're definitely not going to make a good impression. And that first impression, so imagine, yeah, no. So okay, so everyone that knows, um I see a funny thing on spin on things. So, if you don't want to be looking like you're the stripper on a stripper pole and you desperate for cash and you're just wanting those 5 rand notes to come in. Well, we don't have notes anymore. Sorry, there's the age thing. I'm just saying. Um, 200 rand notes. Let's elevate our
Yes,
status
bring
as
it
you
back.
know, but um, you don't want just those small little deals to kind of come in. You
Yes.
wanting conversational. And with LinkedIn, it's account-based marketing. So in other words, you're not just going through with one person. I had a
Mm.
coaching session yesterday with one of the people I coach with regularly. And he was saying, I was asking, so what is the biggest challenge? And he says, I'm battling to close. I'm speaking to the stakeholder and they're giving me the runaround or they're ghosting me, or I spoke to the CFO and the CFO said no, they're busy with something, and I'm like, okay, but have you then spoken to the IT guy because you're selling uh, a digital solution, so
Mm.
you need to have IT on board. Oh, I didn't even know. So it's kind of making sure that you're not going in for the kill with just one person, but it's the approach that you take, thinking outside the box. I was actually saying in a meeting just before this, I don't have a box. The boxes are for cats because the cats love to sit in the boxes. I don't have a box because when someone starts telling me something, I start seeing a bigger picture and going, well, have you done this and this and this and this? And I think, that strategy helps if a manager and a sales manager or someone that's in leadership to put the pressure onto the salesperson in saying, where's the deal? Maybe ask the questions differently so that you can help them close the deal and go along the account-based marketing instead of just one person and the rest of the organization actually doesn't see the value in what you're selling.
And deals, 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 closing, 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 closing. I think it was yesterday, I was in a training session with a client, and while I was scrolling on LinkedIn on the feed, I saw a funny meme, and this guy was like, sent a message to the bosses to saying the LinkedIn campaign is live. By the way, we are not expecting any ROI from this. This is thought leadership and putting ourselves out there. Literally 5 minutes later, how far with ROI? When can we expect leads? Bam, 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 bam. And I'm like, oh my goodness. Like, what do you mean? He just said. So
But
that
again,
kind of pressure is just, yeah.
exactly. But if you've got someone that can help you strategize and put a proper LinkedIn campaign together.
Mm,
For example, we started a LinkedIn campaign with a client, um, and we sent out the first 20 personalized direct messages. And of that first 20, he's already got one meeting request, and it was one of their main targets that they couldn't get into.
sure.
They were battling to get into that particular client, and
Mm,
the whole group of companies was trying to get in with fail. But because if you do a campaign correctly, guess what happened? You know, so there is sometimes instant,
yeah.
and but it's the instant doesn't happen if you haven't set up for success. In other words, this campaign, they had the website needed redesign, there needed to be collateral, there needed to be something so that when we started the campaign, that there was something of value
Yes.
before you actually went in, and you didn't ask for a meeting. So the what you gave, they then responded and said, "We need to talk,"
Oh,
but
I see.
a good one, not the "we need to talk," and then well, I'm in
You're in
trouble.
trouble. The good kind.
Yes,
So it's also about the quality of your campaigns. If you're running campaigns to make sure that you're turning those conversations into leads, it's like, what are you giving people that is of value that they can say, hey, this is actually quite helpful. Then maybe you and I can collaborate, and then. So it's like this golden thread that takes time
correct,
sometimes. So that instant was actually not very instant. There was work behind the all of a sudden, you know.
correct.
Yeah. Okay. Great. So now we're moving into the permission bank concept. So if we think about LinkedIn as a bank account, what actually counts as a deposit in your experience?
What counts as a first commenting on your your connections posts,
Mm.
not like nice post. Okay, guys, get creative and actually read the post, or, you know, have something of value to say. Um, that makes you get noticed. Now, if you like the post, you get 3,252 people that like the post, but then you have 50 comments. Guess who's going to look at the people that liked your post, or is that person going to be looking at the people that commented? So
Mm.
what you start off with, before you even do direct messages, you want to be seen, you want to be noticed, but not in a bad way. You engage on their content, you help elevate what they're trying to say or start a conversation on there. Um, and that helps. So that's definitely a deposit. Um, Work anniversaries, but not just, oh, congratulations.
Right.
That'd be
Like the
boring.
automatic ones, so like we said in the beginning, it's 6 years since I've been with LadyBugz, and then LinkedIn makes it public, and then you get direct messages or on your actual post. And some of the direct messages, you can see it's the one that LinkedIn gave you as an option, and it has that celebrating emoji, like congratulations on your work anniversary. That's it. I'm like, ah, you could have just added a little bit of, spice to it to make it personalized. Something.
100%. But also remember, so what LinkedIn has been doing for the past year and a half is LinkedIn profiles that are inactive
Mm.
um, for a certain period, they're actually removing them as connections or followers of your company page, etc. The reason for that is, I mean, I've had so many clients that say I've got two or three different profiles and I can't access and etc. etc. So it's a good thing from then you actually can see from a real data perspective
Yeah.
of who your followers are. So if you're seeing your connections shrinking, it's not you, it is LinkedIn.
Yeah.
Well, if you're posting, you know, all about me, all about me, all about me, then it is you. Okay, just saying. So that's
Mm.
a withdrawal. But so that when you're doing a congratulations on your anniversary, also make sure that that person is active on LinkedIn.
Ah,
If you see the anniversary, so go and take a look at their profile, see what they're doing, and then to personalize it, you say, and love the messaging that you're currently putting out there about psychological safety. So, for instance, there was someone I commented on yesterday that he was just finished a 2-day training session on psychological safety, and it's something that the world needs is
yeah.
psychological safety. But obviously, I didn't. It wasn't a congratulation. It was on his actual post. But if you go and take a look back at what that person does, you can customize it and add that spice, as Paul said. Just
Yes.
customize it a little bit. Make sure that they're active. If they're not active, don't don't necessarily do that.
Yeah.
Um, Another deposit would be happy birthday. Now, you think that this is silly and saying happy birthday to people that you don't necessarily know. So I use my Facebook as people I know. My Facebook is only people I know. And it's closed off, but it's private, whatever, whatever. As private as whatever as Facebook can get. But we all know that it's yeah. So don't on a side note, don't put anything out there that you wouldn't want your mom to see. Anyway, at any platform. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Um, so Facebook is people I know. LinkedIn is people I don't know yet. I did a poll probably about 2 years ago, and I asked my network in my network, how many of you have actually had some sort of personal contact from me?
Mm.
And 80% of people said they have had some personal response from me, whether it
Nice.
be a happy birthday, whether it be, congratulations on the new role. That's even a better one because now they're active, but
Mm.
also they could also just be updating their profile. So it's a deposit. However, go and take a look because what happens is when they're looking for a new job, they go and update their LinkedIn profile and forget to turn off that little feature saying, I've got a new role. And it posts that they've got a new role, but they've been in that role for 3 years,
Oh, ah,
okay,
yes.
or three
Yeah.
months or 6 months. So what I would do as a deposit is, I see that you've been in there for 3 months, love to hear about some of the challenges you're currently facing. Am I am I asking for a meeting? I'm asking, tell me about the challenges because maybe you can't talk about them internally, but hey, I'm an ear. I'm here to hear. I'm here
Mm.
to listen. You must remember that deposits are about your audience. It's not about you.
Mm.
I know that some of us think that the world revolves around us, but I just have to let you know that we kind of the sun. We revolve around the sun. Okay, so
What?
imagine that the sun, I know, right? See? So imagine the sun is your client. Your world should revolve around that, your prospect. You need to make them see you, but not in a bulldozer way. And
Mm-hmm.
you need to, and not too stalkery, like on every single post. So if you connected with them, there's a secret little button that's you're not even connected. You don't if they don't even accept your connect request at first, there's still a little button. So if you go onto someone's LinkedIn profile, you've always wondered why there's the two little bells on the top right hand corner of their LinkedIn profile. Um, ring their bell, literally ring their bell. So click on it and set all notifications that every time they post,
Yeah.
you get a notification that they've posted. Why does that matter? Because you then get told that Nolene's just made a post and now I can comment and read the article first, read whatever she
Mm.
has to say, and then comment accordingly. Not great post, but something of value, something that adds to what that person is saying. Um, so that's definitely a deposit and a neat trick to try. From a birthday perspective as well, if there's someone I want to connect with and I want a meeting, and I've done a number of things, we've been posting, we've been sharing content, etc., etc. I'll give you one example. 8 years ago, um, started a conversation over 2 days in my inbox with a potential client. He was the um, sales executive within a big brand, and I'm talking lead generation. He's talking the rest of the sales funnel, and really good conversation. As in, we were like pros and cons, and he was sending me information. So it was a really engaging conversation. But he didn't want to meet. So I was like, okay, that's fine. Like 3 or 4 weeks later, it was his birthday. Happy birthday! And a personalized note. Okay. So not happy birthday, by the way, LinkedIn style. Okay.
Yeah.
It's gone a little bit. They've at least extended the sentence from just happy birthday exclamation mark. It's gone a little bit more, but still add your own. I every my messages are very personalized. So based on how I am at that time. And I would say happy birthday. And then if it's someone that I actually would love to have a coffee with, I will just add a simple sentence and open up the conversation by saying, would love to catch up over a coffee. So I said this to him. I got my meeting. I didn't know he was retiring at the time. So that's probably why I didn't get the actual meeting that I was requiring. But he's been one of our biggest fans and he's given me business over time because I did it from a personal. I was adding deposits instead of trying to pull and say it's about me. Uh,
Mm.
and it still works today. To give you another example, is I constantly check and I do what we do with our clients. And so I went into hustle mode and I said, happy birthday and would love to catch up over a coffee. And just before this session, I had a coffee with someone in Dubai, and we talked business because
Ah.
I said, happy birthday, looking forward to catching up over a coffee. There's
Mm.
opportunities that you miss out if you forget that the person behind the message that you're sending to is a person. They don't want to be sold to. Okay. So when you are putting deposits in, think about it when you're going through a mall. And I use this as like almost in every discussion and when I'm teaching and things. When you're going in a mall, there's those shoe shine guys, there's mop guys, there's people selling a whole bunch of things. Everyone's going to a mall to buy something, whether it's a coffee with a friend or whether it's a mop in the aisle of the shop that you go into. Um, but the people that are in the aisles before you even get into the shops, we don't make eye contact. You put on your blinkers. You will look at underwear garments if you have to, at Truworths or whatever that is, instead of making eye contact with the people that are in the middle of those aisles so
Hmm.
that they don't approach you and try and sell you something. Now, feel that feeling. Can you feel that feeling? You don't want to be that person that
Hmm.
sells those mops in the middle of the aisle. So take away that feeling so that everybody's there to buy something, but people don't want to be sold to. So that's definitely, so those are the little types of deposits. The other deposits are bigger things that you work alongside marketing, which could be playbooks, ebooks, webinars.
Yes.
There's those are bigger things, but if you kind of just starting out and there's that you don't have those kinds of things, it's about adding value and making that person feel that their voice matters. If you
Mm,
make someone feel that their voice matters, they will start to trust you. If you're the one
100%.
talking the most, so I do talk a lot, okay? But not when it comes to my first engagement with a client. I let them speak because I need to understand them. And so you need to understand them from a digital perspective. What are they about? What are they passionate about? So that you can actually start connecting and resonating with them. So those are the types of deposits you can make over time.
Amazing, amazing. I mean, about being the person in the aisle, I used to be that girl in the aisle trying to sell you something, and you can feel that this person, they see you, but they really don't want to see you because they're like, really, they're not trying to engage with you right now. Unless what I saw is unless you've got some yummy stuff for them to try, like a custard or whatnot, then they're like, okay, I'll try it. But if you're selling like home things, then they just so it's about what you have to offer also. So considering like what is it that you're offering to make them stop and okay, maybe I'll give it a
Yeah,
try.
but you see, you being in the aisle and saying that there's a nummy treat, that's the value before
Yes,
sale.
exactly.
I want to taste before I buy it.
Exactly, exactly. But if there's nothing that they can try and you just like it's word of mouth that I can do this, like this product can do this for you. It's amazing. Trust me. What's your reference? Hashtag just trust me. Then that's not enough for them. It's not enough. So in the chat, if you are guilty of making withdrawals more than deposits, don't be shy. Please drop an L so that we can see. It's like being honest with yourself and us. If you've ever made more deposits, well, more withdrawals than deposits, let's see them in the chat. There's nothing to be shy about. This is a safe space. No one's going to judge you, but you're in the right place and you know that
I'll
you
judge
can
you.
do better.
I'll So I did a lot of that.
Yeah,
I know I've been there, done that until I learned my lesson. So um
yeah,
yeah.
yeah. And what do you think, what would you say are like two or three low effort but high impact deposits that people can start making today? I think the first one you've already mentioned, saying happy birthday.
I log on every day and I say happy birthday to every single person's birthday. I don't know them. So it's kind of ingrained in me. I want to add value to people always. And it's been something that's been in me since I day dot. Okay. So I say happy birthday to everybody because I don't know who in my network actually just needed to hear happy birthday and a bespoke little message, something motivational that makes a difference. And I will often get saying, you don't know how much I needed to hear that today. Thank you.
Wow.
So it's not it's not even just that's something you can start today. And you have a message that is about motivating, something that resonates with you that you put out there. And I say happy birthday to everybody. So it's not
Mhm.
always that I'll sit there and I'll go, with certain people and add in, for coffee connects and things like that, depending on. So I do my testing, especially for things like this. I want to make sure that what I'm saying is still working. So that making sure that it was still working, and it does. So, but that's the one. So happy birthday to everybody. You don't know who needs to hear it. I mean, a friend of mine, it was her 60th. I didn't realize it was her 60th yesterday. And so I popped her a message, obviously, on LinkedIn because I'm hardly on Facebook. I probably post some funny thing on Facebook once a month just to let my friends know I'm still alive. But if they want to know if I'm really alive, they go to LinkedIn. But she said, thank you for the message and really appreciate it. Miss you because they immigrated. And, not even my husband got around to sending me a happy
Oh
60th.
no.
So then you're like, she really needed that message.
Oh.
So
Yeah.
you don't know, even amongst your friends, you don't know who needs to just hear a little bit of positivity. So I'm
Mhm.
always the one that kind of brings in that silver lining. And you need to be able to add, so that's one definite deposit that can actually start changing how you engage with people. Commenting, um, but thoughtful commenting,
Yeah.
and connecting to the right type of people. So not connecting to every Joe blog, from a connection perspective, just for the sake of connecting. Connect with people that you can add value into their environment. I know that everybody actually needs me. I'm just saying, okay? But
Yes, we do.
all about me. But you know what? At the end of the day, you have to stop worrying about thinking that, you know, it's your IP. It's not about your IP. You have
Mm,
to be adding content that adds value into your network. Tips, tricks on how to do certain things. What to look out for if you're selling a um, cybersecurity solution. Don't tell me about the solution, the features and benefits. I don't want to hear about that. Tell me something that's happened and how, you know, what to do if something like that happens to me. You know,
mm.
those kinds of things. I want to know what to do and tips and tricks, what to look out for. I mean, just this morning, I got a message saying from um, one of my suppliers saying, you might have got an email from one of my colleagues, and please don't open it. Our IT is busy looking into it, which means something happened. But they were open about it. They sent me a message. I did see the message. I was too busy to even open it. So fortunately, I didn't even open it. So I left it. So I was saved. But add those tips. So there's little deposits, but I think the big one that you need to focus on before you even post and comment and everything else is make sure that your LinkedIn profile is up to date.
Mm,
Because if you are commenting, you're posting, you're messaging, you are, saying happy birthday, they're going to look at your LinkedIn profile and what does it say? And if you miss that, then there is content on our YouTube channel on how to set up your LinkedIn profile, because we did a Mandela Day on how to set up your LinkedIn profile. So go and have a look at that recording. Promise
yes.
you, it's not a waste of time. It really does work. Um, AI is picking up LinkedIn articles and LinkedIn content and your LinkedIn itself. So when people are doing a search, make sure that you can be found. So in other words, setting up your profile correctly. But that is the biggest place to start. And with the rest
Mm,
of it, when the commenting and everything, when they come and look at your profile, you've now
it's
got
up to
somewhere
date.
that actually
Mm,
says it's your billboard. It's your
yes.
make sure that it's worth looking at.
Exactly, exactly. And just with people who are like me, um, there is a bit of a stigma, or I don't know, like LinkedIn can be intimidating to some people. I know after I created my profile, it sat there for months without me even using it. They have LinkedIn, they want to use it to for sales or just connecting with the right people and growing their network, but they are a bit, self-conscious about the reaching out processes. So how do you like suggest people avoid the overthinking parts about LinkedIn outreach?
Just start. Don't use the
Mm,
brain. If your
mm,
profiles, if the biggest hurdle that I've come across, and doing this even when I was in corporate and during my lunch hour or whatever, getting all excited, I was telling the guy with the meeting from the birthday note before the session that I used to spend my lunch hours doing LinkedIn training for people because I was so passionate about LinkedIn. But only after I started seeing the power of a tool that I had to sit and I had to learn and I had to start somewhere. Was I scared to put out my first post? Oh, hell yeah.
mm.
And and yeah, it's intimidating. But start. You have in today's world, we have to learn to become more comfortable with the uncomfortable. Otherwise, you're definitely going to stagnate as a person and as a business.
100%. I mean, you don't grow in like comfortable settings. That's not where growth is. And you like to say to me, what's the worst that could happen? Like, will they ignore you? Well, I mean, you tried. Will they tell you to like get off or block you? I mean, if you're doing it too aggressively, then they might. But I mean, what's the worst that could happen? Just like go for it. Put it out there. Put yourself out there. Start growing your LinkedIn. Update it. Reach out. But obviously in the way that we have explained today, don't give your potentials the egg. And also what mindset shift helped you move from selling mode the whole time to just generally building relationships?
It's a good question, and I don't think it was just one thing. So I was one of those people that created a LinkedIn profile and it sat there, and I didn't even
Mm.
know I had a LinkedIn profile. How I started becoming active on LinkedIn was I had two bosses that said, "We need a list of CIOs." And we had in our CRM was HR people, and I didn't know where to start with CIOs. I'm like, and IT managers. I'm like, I don't know. Google, help me. And here's LinkedIn, and like, oh, okay. I've got LinkedIn. What's LinkedIn? And apparently I registered for it. So I had to reset my password, just by the way, just so that you understand that when I started, I also had to reset my password. Um, and then when I did a search and I said Chief Information Officer, there was a list. And I got so excited as a salesperson. I was like, oh, you hear that when you're in the movie and then there's
Ah.
this like, oh, you know, it happening as angels' wings are expanding. But I fast learned that you can't do just anything with it. So I did start connecting with them, but we also invited them to events. It wasn't pitching a sales pitch. We invited them to events. We had something to add value to them when I started with that process. So that helped a bit. But I started, and that's where you just Stop thinking. Those people, I know we don't have any overthinkers in our business, in our team, in our
No.
world. No one overthinks in this. We all just chill and just take it day by day. But actually, just switch off the brain for a moment, not totally, but switch off that part that overthinks and just get it done and just start somewhere. And once you start getting one positive result, you'll start going, okay, so this is the message that works. Okay, then you try something different. You try something different. It's not going to work 100% when you first start out. It, even when we're doing a marketing campaign for a business, it's not sometimes the first messages that work. Then we tweak it, and then suddenly we see, okay, we're getting results. So
Hmm.
it's just like if we've got marketing people in the session, it's just like when you're running any kind of campaign, if it's a paid for campaign or whatever that looks like, you are looking at it and you're tweaking it, you're changing the content a little bit because you see that this one's not landing the way it should. The same thing with LinkedIn. So make sure that you're constantly looking at what those outcomes are and just do it. Nike, just do it.
Exactly, exactly. And we've reached the end
I
of
can't
our
believe it. It's
session.
been an hour.
I know, time flies when you're having fun.
I know, right?
Yes, but I mean, just to close off, if there's one thing, Noleen, you can also add to this, that you can take away from this session is for you to add or make deposits in your permission bank when it comes to using LinkedIn and getting the right people to collaborate with you or get leads, like from your marketing efforts. Just remember not to do the aggressive routes, but it's all about the small things that you do and being intentional with your messaging. When you're wishing somebody happy birthday, be intentional about the text that you're using. If you're congratulating someone, um, with new positions or they started school, just make sure that you double checking if this is something that is very new and then be intentional about your messaging. So, yeah, Nene, last thoughts?
Last thoughts, I just had to put on mute because the dogs were having a nice little um, championship fight next door. Um, I think you just have to get it done. You just start.
Mm,
Don't overthink it. Be intentional as well as consistent. And I think
yeah.
the consistency is the hardest part. But carve time out, 15 minutes a day, check your feed, check your everything, say happy birthday. If you make it consistent, you will get results.
Yes, 100%. Consistency is key and be intentional. So, thank you everybody so much for joining us today. We hope to see you every month. We have these conversations, and in the future, we'll be having some guest speakers join us in conversation. And we're happy to connect with you all on LinkedIn, sharing some insights together. Yes, so stay tuned to see more of these and have
And
a
we'll
great
be
afternoon.
watching you. I see Neo's just said that he's going to just start soon enough.
Yes,
So I'm going
yes,
to stalk you, Neo, and I'll see, and we'll make sure that you just starting and help collaborate on your posts. So
yes, yes,
go
yes.
for
We
it. If you
go for it.
just to comment on something, you're welcome to tag me. And Paul can say for herself, I don't mind. And
Yes,
we'll help engage on your content anytime. So
100%.
go for
Yes.
it.
Just tag us and then we'll help engage, like, comment, reshare so that your post gets elevated.
Yes, 100%. There you go.
Awesome.
Extra nugget for you. Awesome.
Exactly.
Thank you so much for your time and
Thank you,
take care of
everybody.
yourself and see you on LinkedIn.
See you on LinkedIn. Bye.